mentioned the gas issue the other night.
Natural gas.
That it might affect, I guess, landowners here in the city.
Yes.
Because they drill even in city centers, right, in parking lots.
The whole idea with natural gas drilling is natural gas is it's underneath us in the Marcellus Shale. Right now, leasing companies are looking at they're trying to gather up 640-acre units. So what's the easiest? What's the lowest hanging fruit? Big farms. So they're in rural areas right now, picking up, getting leases on 100-acre, 200-acre, 300-acre farms. So that you get a few of those, and boom, you have a gas unit. Sooner or later, if the Marcellus is as productive as they're expecting it to be, what we're going to get is, they're going to start not going to be able to just pull the easy, low-hanging fruit. They're going to start moving into everywhere. Everywhere is going to be, under pressure, and sooner or later they are going to come into the city. So
do you envision the city developing its own kind of rules and regulations about that, or relying on the county? Or?
We're going to have to. Right now, the state regulations have it so that we have to rely on the state, which is a mistake. And I've been pushing locally and throughout the entire county on making sure there's local involvement in the state siting process, which is huge if you think about it, because right now someone in a cubicle in Albany is deciding your water's fate, your community's fate, if this development goes here or not. So I'm trying to get local involvement at the state level, which it's tough to do. State doesn't want to be slowed down anymore by a local, and locals want a lot more control than just one vote when they're sitting at a table of 8 because it's in their community. So it's a little touchy. What we have to worry about here in the city of Oneonta is our water supply is surrounded by rural areas.
Oh yeah.
So anything that happens, when you do have with this type of development, you have to remember it's big, heavy industry using large quantities of chemicals. That's it. That's what you have to remember. Accidents occur. They're going to happen no matter what. The most common accident, probably 80% of the time, the most common accident is a surface accident. Moving chemical A from truck A to truck B. Whoop, I spill. A hose breaks. Pumping chemicals, mixing chemicals. It's surface water contamination, and that's the quickest, the easiest, and that's what open source water supplies like the city of Oneonta's reservoir is most susceptible to. Now, the bigger fear down the road is the fact that we're pumping millions upon millions of gallons underground of chemical-laden water. A lot of that stays there. And there's no real, a well's good for 20, 30 years. After that, they just pour cement over the top and we're good to go. What happens 40 years out, 50 years out?
What happens if the gas company goes bust and the landlord's still responsible?
This is the amazing thing is as the landowner, you're going to be receiving those royalty payments as the gas is coming out. You might want to put some of that away because you're absolutely right. Gas companies come in, and for most of these gas units, they form their own LLC. Now, when that LLC, if there's a problem, the small problem, they take care of it. If it's a large problem,
they fold.
They fold, and the next person holding the bag is you, the landowner. And then what happens to you?
So the leases have to be very tight, very strong.
Leases have to be tight. There's a lot of personal responsibility here. It's more than just collecting that initial sign-on bonus and those monthly checks.
It's not a lottery winning. It's a business deal that you have to be very, very careful.
It's a big business deal with big corporations.
Yeah, absolutely.
And
so I'd like to kind of wrap things up and bring it all together. And I don't want to limit it right now to landlord issues, but again, I think it was a good question the other night. What would you say is the legacy you would like to live at the end of if you were to be elected at the end of your tenure, and what are the most important things in your vision that need to change and be maintained in the city?
I guess legacy-wise, what we have to understand that is in order to govern, in order to have a strong Oneonta, a successful Oneonta, we need a strong base, a strong base and foundation to build off of. And in order to do that, we need some fiscal sanity. Right now, we are so non-frugal. We spend so easily. We spend out of budget. We spend like we'll budget funds, but we'll spend outside of that. We need some fiscal responsibility. I'm not a fiscal conservative. I just don't like paying taxes personally. And I don't have a lot of extra money to pay taxes for wasteful services. We have great services here in the city. All I want to see is that taxes are being utilized to their utmost potential. We're going to be losing state aid and federal aid in the future. We have to do a lot of belt tightening, and it's not flashy, it's not sexy, but bringing us back to basic governance and spending money wisely is my #1 priority. After that, it's building up Oneonta as a destination. We are a college town. We have to accept that. We have a wonderful natural environment, and we have a booming potential for downtown development, economic development. We need to bolster those. Natural environment is such a great resource. We have the Susquehanna River, which empties 200 miles to the south in Chesapeake Bay. Where's our water access to that? We have trails, bicycle trails, hikes, all these things that most of our residents don't know about, and visitors definitely don't know about. So, there's economic potential here just tourism-wise that's unbelievable. And it's those things, the appreciation of nature, that's really important. We have a very environmentally minded community, yet there's nowhere for them to react or interact with our environment. But first, let's get a strong base, a great foundation, and then from there, let's grow, let's push for economic development. We have more in regards to economic development than just downtown. We have the River Street, we have Corning out there, we have property owners, rental property owners that are a huge part of the economic makeup of the city of Oneonta, and we need to start providing incentives to them and all business owners to, one, do the right thing, but two, to make sure that they stay in business so that we do have a consistent tax roll.
It reminds me, I never broached the ideas of green development, solar energy. I think you had mentioned things like that.
Yep.
And what else did we leave out? There's something in the back of my mind now.
Well, on the whole environmental front, conservation is the #1 key to alternative energies and making a huge difference on.
How would you bring that into the city? Is it through public, by using that in the?
Well, the one thing is, we don't get the rebates as much as the residential owner on a lot of solar projects or a lot of wind projects or alternative energy projects. But what we do get is a cost savings. Right now, I'm pushing for solar hot water to our large garage buildings. They have radiant floor heat. Right now they're propane and oil fired furnaces. And with a solar hot water system, we'll get a payback in, I think, something like 7 years of the system, 6 years of the system. Right. So that means after 6 years, one, it's going to be offsetting costs right now, but after 6 years, it's free heat. It's a free reduction. And we have to plan, I think I said at the debate, government only plans budget to budget to budget. Therefore, they're never looking, at that 5-year, well, if we invest in solar or invest in solar hydro or solar electric now, 15 years from now or 10 years from now or 5 years from now, that's going to be free. Absolutely. We're not going to be paying. Yeah. And it's that raw material, that energy that's coming from fossil fuels, that price is going to keep going up.
Absolutely. And they're going to keep polluting. Half of the electricity is fired by coal,
right.
Coal burning plants, and it's letting mercury and dioxides and everything else. I just want to mention that issue because we just put, I think we're the second family here in the city who put a hot water solar system on our roofs, and I want to encourage other people to move in that direction.
And it's a great thing.
And the city should take some of the lead. I haven't seen the leadership except on the cars. They have done some of the traffic cars are now.
Yep, we have electric powered vehicle for a neighborhood electric vehicle for tickets, for our parking enforcement, and now we have some flatbed trucks at DP at the central garage that are utilized that are hybrid trucks. So we have the potential of doing a lot.